Ladies and gentlemen, pretty intense price action the last 24 hours. We saw a drop down on Bitcoin, of course, 36 hours ago. And just about 24 hours ago, we saw a massive pump in the price. Just after yesterday's video, literally 15 seconds after I posted the video, I saw the price just rise like 5% to the upside. I was like, oh, great. But look, in yesterday's video, we planned it perfectly. We said, don't short the market. If anything, buy with a stop loss below. And so, it played out perfectly. The video aged very well. And so today we're going to be discussing that move we saw yesterday and what needs to happen for that move to be a confirmed reversal. I don't think the Bitcoin charts look particularly bad right now. I still would say that nothing is confirmed at this point, but I think they look okay, right? We've got a few things happening. We've got very strong compression on the weekly chart with two very strong indicators for the upside, two very strong indicators for the downside, lots of doji candles there. So looking at daily, weekly, monthly, looking at Bitcoin dominance, which is very important right now, looking at Ethereum. Ultimately, the big question is, has this move been confirmed yet? If not, when will it be confirmed? And what will happen if it's confirmed? What will happen if we drop below? Just overall analyzing the move. How good was it? Let's get into it, guys. The charts we'll be looking at today are all focusing on one key point. It's whether this bounce is a scam or whether it's an actual bounce that's going to lead to a reversal on Bitcoin, going to lead to a stronger macro bounce on Bitcoin. That question is incredibly difficult to answer this early on in the bounce, but I will be giving you the targets we need to be achieving in order to confirm each scenario. We have seen some good progress though. We'll be looking into daily chart, RSI, focusing on that. We'll be looking at 15-minute very briefly. We'll be looking at Bitcoin dominance, which is quite interesting right now in my opinion. We're looking at Ethereum as well. Very interesting chart. The cross correlation between Bitcoin and Ethereum right now is incredibly interesting. And then weekly chart is probably the most important chart you can be looking at on Bitcoin right now, not only because of the candle structure of the weekly candle closes for the last 4 weeks, but also because of the actual indicators surrounding it and also the RSI. And we'll probably look at the monthly chart at some point. Briefly look at CPI, which is happening today, and briefly look at a spot Bitcoin application for an ETF by another hedge fund in the US. So that's adding to a very long list of pending ETFs in the US, which could be a catalyst for a big move at some point. I know the deadline right now is October, but we'll look into that in the video. Before we get into the video, briefly guys, check out the VIP group on Telegram. This is the VIP information and results group. You can join this group for free. It gives you basically a rundown of what the VIP group is, how much it costs, but yeah, what you get for joining the group. You got VIP group chat, you get multiple trading plans per week, immediate access to all of the trading plans, which is currently 9 or 10, I think. And then we've got, trading tips occasionally, news updates occasionally. We did a post recently about the ETF situation in the US exclusively to VIP, and then you can finally check out the trading results on this PDF document with all of our trades we've done in the VIP group, totaling a 79% win rate, exceptionally good. So go ahead and check that out. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I'm going to try keep it short today. I know I say that every video and it ends up being long. I'll try my best, right? 15 minutes max. We'll start off with the news. We have another kind of big hedge fund in the US, Franklin Templeton, a lot smaller than the other ones though, applying for a spot ETF. Now, look, there's a reason why all these hedge funds are applying for spot ETFs, and they're not all applying at once because they think they're going to get denied. They think they're going to get approved. We had Grayscale win the lawsuit against the SEC, basically claiming the SEC denied their application for no good reason. They won the lawsuit, so it's very evident that, spot ETFs are going to be approved at some point. It's just a matter of kind of how far can the SEC kick the can down the road. And, the next deadline for a bunch of them is the 16th or 17th of October, and they can kick the can down the road until March next year, which coincidentally, right, is just before the halving. So even if they kick it down the road for that long, if we get a bunch of ETF approvals just before the halving, and then the halving occurs a month after that, that's going to be a massive bullish catalyst for Bitcoin around that month-long period. So that would be great. It doesn't really matter when it happens. As long as it happens, it's fine. And I think it is more likely to happen at this point. They have $13 billion in funds under management. It's adding to a long list of people. Fidelity, we've got BlackRock, we've got Grayscale, which had the lawsuit recently, Vanguard, I think ProShares as well. There's a bunch of hedge funds now that have applications pending. Again, I think they will get approved at some point, especially considering BlackRock has filed for 500 ETFs plus in the past, and they've only got denied once. It's like they're not the kind of people who are going to get denied on something. They're not the kind of people who are going to waste their time applying for something, waste their money applying for something if it's going to get denied. They also have massive influence. BlackRock, along with Vanguard, control 88% of the US stock market in terms of having the highest amount of the highest share in the companies there. So they're very, very, very large hedge funds, and I don't think they're going to get denied very easily. So yeah, that's big. Another one adding to the list, that's big news. ETF, it's definitely a bullish catalyst at some point. It's just a matter of when it happens. Very hard to say when, but I think it will happen. So that's one thing. CPI is also coming today, and that's another big thing considering Bitcoin's situation. We'll dive back into this in a second after we analyze where Bitcoin is. Where is Bitcoin? Okay, well, I'm not going to waste your time talking about this massive support zone we have too much because I know everyone knows it by now, but I will briefly mention it for people who perhaps don't. We have a major support zone. When I say major, I don't mean like, oh yeah, it's the biggest one this month. I mean, this support zone has been stemming back from August 2022. It's a year-long support zone, 13 months long. It's probably the strongest support zone we've had on Bitcoin, maybe for 2 years, maybe since the bull market, right? Maybe since this region over here, okay? It's very strong, okay? So this green box between 24.5K and 25.2K is basically Bitcoin's lifeline. If it loses this level, okay, I'm not going to say it's going to go to new lows, that's ridiculous, but if it loses this level, we're definitely in for months of consolidation, months of correction, boring price action for a long period of time. We'll basically be tossed back into this range over here. Currently, we're in this range here. We lose this, that's the line in the sand. We're tossed back into the lower range. It's going to take months to get back above. So we really want to hold this level for Bitcoin. It's very important to hold. How would we identify it being lost? A loss of this level would be a weekly candle close below 24.5K. The reason I say that is because this is a weekly chart level. If you look at where these candles stem from and you draw a line at where 24.5K actually is, okay, 24.5K, the Binance chart doesn't do it justice. Let me go to a different chart here because the Binance chart is actually slightly off sometimes. But as you can see on this chart over here, there we go. You can see 24.5K, the yellow line, is right where these weekly candles closed. Exactly. It's right where we've tested just last week. We tested it vaguely over here in June as well. We lose that in a weekly close. We're back into this orange range. We're currently in the green range here. As you can see, there's a very clear range-bound construction on Bitcoin. We don't want to be losing 24.5K on a weekly chart at all. So that's basically the Bitcoin analysis in regards to that support zone. And it really tells us quite easily, I mean, there's other factors, of course, but that's the easiest way to explain why this support zone is holding up so well, okay? And you might think, oh, it's not holding up. Well, let me tell you, mate, it is holding up, okay? Because look, we came down very strongly, right? We're up in this region, high 20Ks, 28K and above. We came down very strongly within 2 daily candles, within 48 hours, guys, basically 24 hours, all right? We came from this upper range here all the way down to the support block, and we've been holding it ever since. It's been a month, a pure month of constant retest of this support, and it's still holding. And yesterday we saw the lowest candle we saw digging deep into that support zone, breaking below this yellow uptrending line we had, but we were holding for support for a while. We saw a deep candle digging into that support zone, going into the 24Ks, and we bounced right back up. Now, we didn't quite, let me zoom in here, because I said, no, we didn't quite see a bullish engulfing candle. We were looking for a bullish engulfing candle, okay, yesterday. When that was happening, I was posting in VIP, I was saying we're looking for a bullish engulfing candle. If we see that, it's going to lead to a very strong reversal in a similar fashion to what it did back here. If you look back during mid-2021, all right, you can see we had a very similar major support zone, all right? We dipped into it on one candle. We had a bullish engulfing candle that led to a massive reversal. If we saw something like that again, it would very likely lead to a massive reversal. Unfortunately, we didn't see a bullish engulfing candle. What we did see was a very strong candle, but it wasn't bullish engulfing. And unfortunately, it was a strong candle, but it had a big wick to the upside, meaning that, yes, there was very strong buying pressure, but there was also very strong selling pressure. And right now, Bitcoin is still in the middle. It's still sitting on a fence here. And so, based on that, and based on short term as well, there's really nothing to talk about in short term. It's just kind of price action just went down then up, right? There's nothing to talk about here. Yeah, it's kind of a descending wedge. Perhaps we go up again, but other than that, we're just looking for a retest of the upper region. It doesn't really mean much from a long-term perspective. So that's short-term analysis for you. But basically, Bitcoin, although it's had this dip into the support, and although the bounce is very strong, and although that does actually increase the bullishness of the charts, because it shows that support zone is still strong, regardless of what the bears want to think, regardless of the strong selling pressure we saw into it. Look, the fact that we bounced so strongly up and the fact that we're still holding our ground more than 24 hours later is a bit of an indicator that Bitcoin does have strength still, and it still definitely does have a chance of bouncing and holding the support line in general. This is why I said to you relentlessly throughout the entirety of yesterday's video, what did I say? I said, do not short Bitcoin right now. That's the first point I made. That was what I emphasized throughout the whole video. We were down here We're in the support zone. We've broken down from RSI support line. We've broken down from daily chart support line. People were saying short, short, short. People were jumping in shorts. I said, guys, do not short Bitcoin right now. You're not meant to short on support, especially on a support zone this big. I also said, if you want to buy, you could buy, and you could put your stop loss below here. So realistically, at the best case scenario, if you listen to me, you wouldn't have shorted, you wouldn't have lost your money. And at the worst case scenario, and at the best case scenario, you would actually have a few more Bitcoin bags right now. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Bitcoin is back in a good position. It's not, but it's certainly not in a bad position. It's looking better than what it did 3 days ago, right, after this bounce. Now, what do I think we need to do for Bitcoin to be in an actual bullish position? I think we need to break this daily chart RSI line to the upside, and I think we need to break above all 3 of these descending chart resistances, all 3 of these lines. That would mean probably a break of above 27.5k would be back in bullish territory. If we get back above that region, we get over here, for example, this whole region can be labeled as a double bottom formation, and we can be going upwards again and start retesting the higher regions such as 32k. Basically, we're still not in a confirmation of an upwards move. We're still not in a reversal for Bitcoin. But the good news is, we didn't actually form a macro downwards trend. We're still in a macro upwards trend, technically speaking. We've still got higher lows and higher highs, technically speaking. So that's undeniable. We haven't formed a macro downwards trend yet. But I do want to, warn you that it's not over. We're still in danger. We haven't actually confirmed a proper reversal. We've just seen a bounce. We've seen an indication that there is support there. There is buying pressure there. That's not the same thing as reversal. So be cautious. I might sound like I'm bullish here, but I'm actually not. I'm neutral. I'm exactly the same as what I was yesterday. I'm neutral on these charts, just like yesterday, and my opinions are still exactly the same as yesterday. So that's my opinion on Bitcoin in that regard. Now I want to look at a few more things, including the weekly chart, Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance, and perhaps even the monthly chart as well. But before we do that, quick advertisement, stick around, it'll take a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's a little news flash for you. You trust exchanges with your money. They get hacked all the time. They lose funds all the time. So the exchange you're using, you're actually trusting with your money. You're also paying them fees for trades. You're paying up to thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per year in fees. So you want to have a bloody good exchange, right? And that's why I have 2 exchanges for you guys, 2 options depending on your location, depending on what you want from exchange. The first one is Bitget. That is a KYC exchange. You can sign up from anywhere in the world, excluding the United States, excluding Canada, and excluding Singapore. Very low fees, protection fund, the whole 9 yards. We've also got BingX. That's our second exchange, and that is an exchange you can sign up non-KYC from anywhere in the world, including every country, right? With a VPN from anywhere in the world. Again, very low fees, protection fund, everything you need in an exchange. Both of these exchanges are top 10 exchanges in trading volume. Sign up using my referral link below to get a 15% trading fee discount on both of the exchanges. Again, they'll both be in the description. Referral link is there. Get on the good exchange and become a proper trader. Don't use these trashy exchanges that you're risking your money and paying over in fees. Guys, let's get back into the video.
Now, Bitcoin dominance is something I want to look at because Bitcoin dominance is breaking out of a descending channel formation. Now, if you guys don't know, and a lot of you probably won't know this, is actually not known very well. I use this chart a little bit. What you can see is Bitcoin dominance forms triangle formations and wedge formations and channel formations just like every other chart. And it breaks to the upside, and it basically, in the current market environment we're in right now, Bitcoin dominance going up generally means Bitcoin's going up. Now, as you can see, the dates of these breaks line up with Bitcoin breakouts. 13th of January, for example, 13th of March, go back to the Bitcoin chart. When did we see breakouts on Bitcoin? We saw breakouts around 13th of January, 13th of March. Go a little bit further, breakout again over here on the 10th of June. 10th of June, we saw a breakout on Bitcoin as well. Around that period of time. All right, we saw a bottom on Bitcoin around 10th of June, but it led to a breakout. And then what have we seen right now? We're seeing the start of a breakout forming after a strong retest of a very strong green support box that stems back all the way, basically years back in the past from 2017. The point is, we've seen a breakout today. And what happened today? Well, today we saw a very strong green candle. The point is, this very well could be the start of a move to the upside. So there is an indication there. It's not confirmation by any means, but it's definitely an indication that Bitcoin is looking better than a lot of people expected to be looking. I wouldn't use that as direct evidence. It's definitely supporting evidence rather than direct evidence, but it is a good sign, and we need to be seeing that breakout continue to the upside. And this is something I've been talking about for over a week now. So it's good to see that what we've been talking about for over a week has materialized into something. Perhaps it will get rejected. Perhaps, it won't work properly, but it's definitely worked properly the last 3 times, and we've looked at it each time in the past. So hopefully it works again this time. And if it does, we're in for another upside move for Bitcoin, and that'll be great. Another thing is Ethereum chart. Speaking of charts that are related to Bitcoin that aren't Bitcoin, Ethereum sometimes foreshadows Bitcoin moves, and Bitcoin does the same thing. For example, when we found support here on Ethereum in June, Bitcoin was actually in a breakdown, and the fact that we found support here on Ethereum led to Bitcoin actually finding support as well. The charts are all connected. That's something you need to know. So this doesn't just happen with Ethereum to Bitcoin, it happens with Bitcoin to altcoins, happen with Bitcoin to Ethereum. The charts are all connected. So if one chart's breaking down, but 10 other crypto charts are on support, including Bitcoin, for example, then it's very likely that breakdown's not valid. You have to be cross-checking your charts, and that's why we cross-check Ethereum. Now, Ethereum broke down technically yesterday, but it broke down by a very, very, very small margin. It broke down by, basically, from the line breakdown, it was less than 0.5% on the candle. So it was a very small breakdown. You can list it as a fake out, and we did manage to bounce back upwards quite strongly today. We didn't see a resistance support flip. We bounced back upwards strongly, and that's an indication that perhaps Bitcoin hasn't, lost all hope yet, because Ethereum hasn't lost hope yet at all. Bitcoin has found support. Ethereum's at support. That's good to see as well. The last thing we'll look at is the weekly chart, and this is probably the most important topic of the video, even though I'm going to look into it briefly. I'm not going to discuss it too much, but it is basically the most important chart you can look at on Bitcoin. Essentially, weekly chart has multiple important indicators right now, okay? Take my word for it. All of these indicators have acted for very strong resistance and support on Bitcoin in the past. All right, bull market support band, Gaussian channel, 200-week SMA, 50-week SMA. They're the most important indicators on the Bitcoin weekly chart, possibly on the Bitcoin charts in general, in the entire history of Bitcoin, especially the Gaussian channel and bull market support band. Okay, so what we have is two of them acting as support. 50-week SMA and Gaussian channel acting as support, and bull market support band and 200-week SMA acting as resistance. What does that mean? It means Bitcoin is clamped. And you can see that Bitcoin is clamped because look at the bloody price action. Look at the candles. We have 4 consecutive doji candles in between these two resistance and support indicators. Bitcoin is between a rock and a hard place. It is clamped. It is clamped together. And you know how clamping works. Eventually, when you clamp something down in the market long enough, it has to spring. It has to spring either downside or upside. So that just gives you an idea of how major Bitcoin's situation is right now. Now, I've discussed the importance of each and every one of these indicators in the past over and over and over again. I'm not going to do it today, but it does give you an indication of how major this price region is. This support zone is not something to be messed with, okay? And if we get above, as I spoke about on the daily chart, if we get above levels like 27.5K, like 28K, we're getting above all of these indicators on the weekly chart as well, which will lead to an upside move. It will lead to a cup formation bottom and an upside move. It is very important that Bitcoin holds above 24.5K, which is supported by all of these lines, and it breaks above 27.5K or 28K-ish, and then it breaks above all these lines here, it leads to an upside move. Those are really the two critical price regions right now. And Bitcoin right now is on the edge of a cliff, but it's also, about to climb a wall. It's in between decisions. It's just waiting to see what happens. Now, I will note that we do also have RSI support. That does bolster the bullish argument, okay, because we don't have RSI resistance, really. We have RSI support, bolsters the bullish argument. We also have, these doji candles forming, these small, and what I mean by doji candle, for those of you who don't know what that means, they're the small candle bodies with the large wicks, okay? Small candle bodies with large wicks, either upside or downside. It represents indecision. It means that during these weekly candles, we went up, we went down, but ultimately we ended up where we started off. So nothing really happened. And you generally see doji candles form at strong support and strong resistance, and they're generally patterns of reversal. So I will say that that's actually a bullish indicator as well. All right, so I don't think the charts look too bad right now. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't think they look too bad. Even monthly chart, 50-month SMA, 50-month EMA, sorry. We're on support with the 50-month EMA. That's where we bounced off here before the big move upwards above the red line. We're on support. We're right on top of support. It's at 24.5K. I think that the charts actually look okay. Again, I'm not I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm bullish on the market. I don't think there's enough evidence to say that, but I'm certainly not bearish. And I'm, I'd say I'm neutral still. I'd like to see confirmation of some lines being taken. I'd like to see confirmation of 27.5K taken, 28K taken. Then I'll definitely say that I'm bullish and I'll say that this pump was valid. But I'm certainly not bearish. If anything, I'm leaning a little bit to the bullish side now, especially after yesterday. But overall, I still don't have a very strong opinion. I still think that it can go either way. But if I had to say, I'd probably say I'm leaning a little bit more bullish. But even then, I wouldn't really make any decisions based on that. I'd be waiting for more confirmation, as we usually do. For the same reason, when yesterday I said we're looking pretty rough, but I said I'm still neutral. For the same reason I said, even if look, put it this way. Even if I thought there was a 90% chance that we were going to go down today and drop below this line, I still wouldn't make a decision until we drop below it. That's how I trade. I'm a breakout trader. And I say it every video, I'll say it again. It doesn't really matter what my opinion is. What matters is what happens, because I react to what happens, not what I think. And that's the only way you can do trading, because that's the only way you can separate your emotions from the objective reality of TA. That's why I believe in breakout trading rather than emotional trading, because I believe that your opinion is somewhat emotional. It's based on bias, so how can you trust it? I can trust the charts, I can trust my opinion. But yeah, if I had to guess gun to my head, I'd say that Bitcoin looks pretty okay right now. Probably 60-65% chance bullish. But yeah, that's the market right now. We also have CPI coming up today, and that could lead to some volatility. I don't want to discuss it too much because CPI has been a bit of a nothing event over the last few months, last 6 or 7 months actually. Due to Bitcoin and traditional market correlations. But like usual, we've gone over our time limit. One of these days, I'm going to say we're going to have a short video. It's going to actually be short. One of these days, I promise. But for now, back to the long videos. Before we end the video, check out the Crypto Academy, guys. Become a Trader 10-unit course. It will teach you how to trade. All the information is on the website in the bio here, including the unit topics. You can check out what we offer you exactly as per the unit titles and what is included in those units. You know, slideshows, videos, worksheets, and we've got the number of students and also our email address for contact on this website. Go ahead and check it out. Along with Bitget Exchange, BingX Exchange, along with VIP Group. It's all in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.